What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Two Friends Talking. I'm Chase. This is my co-host, Ricky, and this is our weekly podcast where we talk about all things sports, talk about fantasy, talk about pick'ems. We have a good time for the next 30 to 45 minutes. So, Ricky, how are you doing?
Well, brother's wedding went well. Finally, don't have that happening.
There we go.
I was glad I didn't have to watch the Texas game.
Yeah.
Considering how it went.
It's unfortunate.
Very. But I'll tell you what, today was an interesting day. So I picked my daughter up from the daycare, right?
Okay.
She's being a little bundle of joy, having a good time. Take her back to the restaurant. We're in the office. We're watching Tiana, and she's eating some fruit snacks.
Who's Tiana?
Princess and the Frog.
Makes sense. Okay, yeah.
That's one of her favorite ones to watch. That and Snow White right now. So we're sitting there. She's sitting on my lap. I'm scrolling on my phone while she's watching the frog. And all of a sudden, my leg's hot and wet. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I look. The daycare worker never finished the diaper. They did one half of the elastic that goes on. So half her ass was sitting on my leg, just pissing on me. So I'm sitting in my chair and I'm just like, motherfucker. And I get up and I look and there's a puddle of piss in the chair. I'm covered in piss. I'm just like, great. So luckily my wife was coming up because we were doing a game night tonight. She brought me a pair of clothes, but I had to sit there for 40 minutes.
If you're creating this fake, if you're just creating this fake story because you pissed your pants and you don't want to admit it, pissing your pants is cool, okay?
I would be less upset if I pissed my pants. I'd be like, well, it's a bad beat right there, buddy.
Tell you what.
But no, the kid, and she drinks a lot of fluid. Like she downs her bottle.
Gotta stay hydrated.
But she drinks them instantly. So she pisses all the time. She gave me a good one, man. I was sitting in piss for 40 minutes until my wife got off work and made it home.
I'll tell you what.
Clothes.
I think we've been talking about piss for a little too long for a sports podcast. So why don't we hop in to last week's fantasy.
Hey, speaking of which,
and see how you did.
My team pissed the bed. Went 105 points, 5 points off of the money, as you can see up here.
Okay, yeah.
All in all, I had a pretty good performance from two people.
Yeah.
I'll take Josh Jacobs. I'll take that in the flex every time. I whiffed on the Atlanta defense. I thought it would have been better than that.
Wow.
They did not play well at all. But, I mean, Terry McLaurin, 6 receptions, 98 yards. That's not bad. But half PPR, only 13 points.
Yeah, your other receiver
Douglas
let you down.
Didn't do shit. Tony Pollard, 61 yards. Doesn't do anything if he doesn't score. McConkey, 5 receptions, 46 yards. Didn't do shit. McBride, you take the 5 receptions, 51 yards from a tight end now in this season. But honestly, team just didn't perform up to snuff. I did call the Kyler Murray 40 to 50 yard touchdown. That's why you pick him.
Yeah.
That's once in a while he's just going to have a 40 to 50 yard rushing touchdown, and then you're immediately 10 points in right there.
What about Josh Jacobs? Did he finally get a touchdown this week?
He caught his very first career receiving touchdown.
I saw that. That almost seems like
a fake stat, but it was true. He had his very first receiving touchdown this week, which I'll take it. I'll take it every day of the week, especially when he's on my team. But just out of the money again. I need to tweak a few things, and then maybe next week I can get back into it. I was just kind of doing a little scrolling earlier, and I happened to see a name on this leaderboard, so I'm going to throw it to you now and kind of let the people see what you did this week.
Well, the name he is talking about is your boy Chase. What a team, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the money for the first time this year. And not only in the money, we are well in it at 15th out of 396 people. So we'll take that. And I will say, up until Monday night, like late, I was teetering around like 11th place, top 10 at one point. I was thinking it was going to be nice, but I don't know. I kind of got screwed over. So 15th place, nice $10 payout. But look, Sam Darnold, serviceable game. JJ, serviceable. He had a touchdown, 18 points almost. Not a bad wombo combo. Spending big on Derrick Henry definitely paid off, almost 28 points. Huge game Monday night, but I'll tell you what, I was kind of freaking out because I had a FanDuel bet with him also, and he was the last leg of the FanDuel scoring a touchdown that I needed, or Prize Picks, excuse me, to score a touchdown. And I'm like, everybody else is scoring a touchdown except for him, but he finally got his. Tank Bigsby, huge game again. You know, with ETN being injured, I don't see how they can go back to ETN being the guy. Like,
I don't either.
I don't know. The big disappointment, the big elephant in the room here is going to be the big goose egg from Juju Smith-Schuster. Yeah, he left the game after like the first drive with like a hamstring injury, I believe. The same injury that he was nursing all week, but then he was cleared to play. So I think maybe we got to take that in consideration when picking our players now of, hey, what kind of injuries, like, are they going to leave after the first quarter, you know?
Yeah.
Amari was solid. He had a touchdown in his first career game for Buffalo. I kind of called that. I thought he would have a good one, and he did, and they won pretty easily. So I think he'll continue to get better. Talk about calling it, though, a diamond in a rough. David Njoku. I called it. I said,
this is the one you said you weren't excited about that pick.
But I said he could go off. He's the number one receiving target for them now. And what did he do? He went off. I'm interested to see what his share looks like now with Deshaun Watson getting injured. Maybe Jameis throws it to his tight ends more. I don't know. Tyron Tracy was pretty disappointing. Overall, the Giants did not play good against Philly. They didn't run. I mean, he only had 6 carries. So I didn't get to watch that game, so I really don't know what the situation was. But 4.7 points ain't going to cut it. And the Giants defense actually did fine for me. They had 5 sacks, 4 points. I mean, it could have been your defense that put up 0. So
yeah,
I'll take it. But yeah, the 15th place, that's the highest either of us have placed so far. But hopefully we take this momentum, move into next week, and have another winner. Speaking of that, Rick, let's see what you got for this upcoming week.
Very interesting week for me. You see somebody right here who has more interceptions than touchdowns so far this season.
Okay, yeah.
They're playing Vegas. Vegas was talking some shit in the offseason. And I got a feeling old Patty's going to get back on track when he comes up against them. Their team's not very good. So this is where he's going to have a field day and get back on track is what I'm hoping for. Same with Kareem Hunt. Ever since he's been back in Kansas City, he's been getting like 17 points a game. Can't go wrong with that. Breece Hall, under this new head coach, his rush share went from like 40 or like 50, 45, and 5 for like the 3 running backs to like I think he had like 80% of the work this week.
Okay.
Hopefully that continues and he becomes a bell cow there. Terry McLaurin. He was cheap. The problem is he lost his quarterback. And now we're back to Marcus Mariota. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna play for the big game here still. I hope he does. That would be super cool. But I don't know. He's probably Terry with everybody but Jaden Daniels has kind of been a bust in fantasy, unfortunately. Brian Thomas Jr. It's like top 5 in receiving yards. Just shreds people. He's been killing it. Still cheap too, 6,500.
Yep.
I'm hoping he goes off again because
he, you know, go figure.
He eats.
The week, not last week, the week before when I started him, he doesn't do anything, and then last week he had a good game. It's like, come on.
Yep. Tua's coming back this week, so I'm going to take advantage of the cheap Jaden Waddle here. Hopefully, where it'll probably be.
I might take Jalen Waddle. Who's Jaden Waddle?
Jalen Waddle?
Yeah, you called him Jaden.
I got my nose is kind of stuffy. It's kind of messing with my speech. Right. I'm coming down with the sickness. But Tua's coming back, so I'm going to take advantage of the cheap wide receiver 2 in Miami until they start performing again with a quarterback who can actually throw the football. Evan Ingram's like a top 3 tight end almost every week somehow. Seems like.
I mean, I don't know who their number 1 receiver is other than him. So, Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr. Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
They've got a bunch of weapons there. They're just a shit team. DK Metcalf goes out. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Hopefully, he's been getting the same number of targets as Terry and like Garrett Wilson and all of them. But he's like wide receiver 40 versus them being up way higher. It's like he just doesn't catch the ball. I don't really know. So maybe he'll get the shit together this week. I would really like that. And then I ended it with Detroit's defense against Tennessee because when in doubt, pick the team that's playing Tennessee.
Have you picked the defense that faces Tennessee every single week this season?
Almost. I didn't last week. I picked and they get me 0 points. So, but I'm going back to the tried and true. Whichever team's playing Tennessee, pick their defense, and it's been working.
It's worked for you so far, yeah.
I strayed against it last week, and it got me 0 points. So I got.
Well, Tennessee was on a bye week, weren't they? So.
Exactly.
You should have just not started the defense.
I would have been just as.
It would have saved you 3,000. You should be able to do that. You should be able to make a tactical decision.
Do that.
No.
That would be nice. But yep, that's the team this week. I got some bounce back candidates up here, and here, and then hopefully some guys that will continue success here, and maybe somebody who can step up, be that next man up in Jackson Smith and Jigba. So interesting team. A lot of guys I haven't used yet. Boom or bust. I'm going for the boom, baby. Now, speaking of the boom, what boom are you laying this week? Because I hope you're going to get the fucking top 10.
We bring the boom. So look, I'm actually very excited about this team, okay? I've discovered last week, I think the method is spending big on big-time players, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're taking probably the lead MVP candidate at my quarterback here, Lamar.
Yep.
Wish I had him last week. He scored 5 tutties. I had him in my actual fantasy league, and he did great. I still lost, but that's different. That's a conversation for another day. But look, Cleveland defense, which has been underperforming. There's talks of, is Myles Garrett going to get traded? I don't think so. But, I mean, it doesn't matter who they're playing. Lamar has been cooking everybody, so give me him here. I think he continues to ride the wave. Saquon coming off one of the best games of his career, and he's going against Cincinnati, who doesn't have a good defense. If anything, I think the Giants' defense is better than Cincinnati's.
I would say so.
So give me Saquon here. This is a big-time player. He's gonna put up big-time points this week. I feel it. I'm feeling like 30 points from Saquon. I don't know. I just feel it in my loins.
So you got the Kareem Hunt.
Next up, this guy has been crazy since he's been back. He is single-handedly saving some people in fantasy leagues, and this week he's going to save my team. 8,100 points, but Kareem Hunt he's averaging 17.5 points per game since he's been back. So that's great. And for that value, I like it. My receiver position is definitely a little bit weaker, but I think we're getting good value here, and I'll explain. Okay, look, Amari's pretty dirt cheap still. He already showed the upside of what he can do, and I think as the season goes on, that connection with him and Josh Allen is only going to get better. AKA, Josh Allen's going to keep feeding Amari. Seattle, this is going to be a good game. This might be a pretty high-scoring back-and-forth game. So I like Amari here. I think he can get me about 15 or so. I'd be happy with that. So everything you said about him is Brian Thomas Jr. That's why I like him. I think the Green Bay game is going to be a high-scoring affair as well, which I'm discovering now. Every time I'm like, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, it turns out to not be, or it turns out to be a shootout or a blowout. So hopefully Jacksonville's the team blowing them out.
This could be a blowout. Yeah, this could be a blowout with Brian Thomas Jr. just getting behind the defense once.
Yeah, I hope he balls out. You know, he had that one bad week the last time he was on my team, but I think...
Yeah, now you're making me kind of want to change it because every time he's on your team, you don't do shit.
That's true. We'll see. Not this week, though. This week is different. Now, this is a big gamble, okay? First off,
yeah, I see.
I didn't have shit for points. Mike Evans, out for at least 4 weeks or so. Chris Godwin, Rod God, done for the season. You know who's the next man up? Jalen McMillan. Third on the depth chart. Moved up to number 1 overnight. He had the third most targets last game in the receiving room. So I think this is a gamble because you see he only averages 3.5 fantasy points per game. But
yeah,
we're taking a gamble here. I believe that Jalen McMillan will have a breakout career game this Sunday at noon. Big divisional game against Atlanta, or big conference game against Atlanta. I like him here.
So also like the other number 1 option.
Cade Otton. Look, I actually started this guy in both of my fantasy leagues this week. Picked him up without waivers just because I needed a tight end. And he actually did pretty well. He scored double-digit points and balled out. So he is probably the true number 1 receiving option in that offense now. So look, Baker liked throwing it to him. He had a good game. He's targeted in the red zone. I like Kate Otten here, and for the value, I mean, you can't beat that. $5,200 for the number one receiving option in that offense. I'll take it. Now, I spent kind of big here on my flex, and I'm going with Tank Bigsby again. I know they said that ETN might be back this week, but he's still questionable, so he's still not practicing fully. And right, exactly. And like I said earlier, I don't see how they can just hand the keys back to ETN. I mean, Tank Bigsby has been falling out this season, and he deserves to be the number one guy. He's taking advantage of the opportunity he's been given, and I don't think there's any turning back.
Yeah,
so
I
like him.
Trade ETN to the Cowboys.
I'd be okay with that. I think that would actually be a really good trade for both teams. But then to wrap it up, I'm going with the Giants defense, mainly because of all of the ones at the bottom of cost. I don't think the Giants defense is actually that horrible. Like, they get sacks, which at least they get points. I mean, they got blown out 28-3 last week, and they still got me 4 points because they had 5 sacks. Pittsburgh, I mean, Pittsburgh's better than I thought they would be, but Russ isn't really as mobile as he used to be, so I think the Giants are still going to get some sacks. Maybe he
takes a lot of sacks.
Yeah, maybe get a pick or something like that. So I think the Giants can give me a couple points, but I like this lineup. I'm very excited to see if we can finish in the money again and beat ourselves from last week in top 15. I'm thinking this is a top 10 team. And I'm hoping yours is a top 10 team. That way we don't have to put money back on our account. Got to keep running with the house money. So, I'm excited. I think this is the team.
Notice how we haven't been picking Cowboys players?
Well, and we are doing better when we don't. I didn't pick one Cowboys player last week and finished in the money. So, look, let's hop over to the fantasy pick'ems here. Or the fantasy pick'ems, the pick'ems. And go over last week. Now, look, if y'all remember a week ago, I went 13-1 and was amazing. Top 1,700. Unfortunately, week 7, I went 7-8. Way back down to earth, and I'm only top 54-17. So, quite a big drop off. But look, there was actually, there was quite a few games we thought were going to be good last week, and they didn't turn out to be that good. But one of the ones that stood out to me, and I watched this because my dad was in town, he's a diehard Vikings fan, was the Lions.
That was tough.
Vikings game. And I'll tell you what, this was a very exciting game from start to finish. I mean, this is a playoff matchup.
If you look at that, look at the box score of that game, it's so even. Yeah. It is so even. Yeah.
I mean,
it's incredible.
Jared Goff started off 17 for 17. I mean, here was the thing. Sam Darnold also was great. He only threw 4 incomplete passes. This was just a very good game. Yeah. And the Lions won it on a game-winning field goal as time expired. Or not time expired, but pretty much. And great game. They'll play again this year. And wouldn't be surprised if these teams somehow come across each other in the playoffs again. But that was a great game. What about you, Rick? What do you think? How'd you do also?
I went 9-6 this week, so I got a few games back on you, which is good for me. I'm approaching the 60 wins.
Okay, so I'm at 63. You're at 58, so you're only 5 games back now.
5 games back, clawing my way back up. Hopefully, we're going to keep that going this week. I was at the wedding, like I said, so I was kind of in an area where I couldn't really watch football, but there was one game I did get to watch. It was a game I completely whiffed on with my fantasy predictions with the Falcons defense, and Seattle just obliterated them. I mean, it really wasn't a close game at all. The score looks closer than what the game was.
Yeah, I didn't really see that.
I don't really know what went wrong with Atlanta. It just seems like they couldn't get anything going. And Seattle was just throwing the ball everywhere. DK had a drop touchdown in the first drive and ended up scoring one again. But, Geno just had a real big bounce back game. I think these teams are much closer in skill than what was shown on Sunday. But I don't know. It was just they had an offensive explosion and Kirk just couldn't get the ball going.
I was going to say, I just went and checked the box score, and I understand what went wrong. Kirk turned the ball over 3 times. So.
Yeah, he just couldn't
2 picks and a fumble.
Yeah, he couldn't get anything going. And that's really rough when you have 3 turnovers. You don't expect to win a game.
Yeah.
So
tough too.
But all in all, from what and I think you watched the Monday night games. I did too. Yeah. I mean, this game, the Baltimore Ravens, I think they've got 1 and 2 in my opinion for MVP right now on their teams.
I would agree.
Lamar and Derrick Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry's on pace for like 2,100 yards this season.
Yeah.
And he's 30.
Yeah. It's just absolutely insane. And that's one we both picked that right, actually. I think if you had asked me right now, like to update my predictions, the Ravens look like the best team in the NFL. Like
they're the best team right now.
Lamar Jackson is MVP in my mind. And it's so tough because Derrick Henry, like you said, he's on pace for 2,100 yards, but it's like Lamar just threw 5 touchdowns. I think he's got 14 on the year and only 2 picks. And he's got rushing added to that. And
I mean, he's total 17 and 2 on turnovers.
He looks
touchdown to turnovers.
I mean, it's tough to say because he's already a multi-time MVP winner.
But this looks like his
it
best
looks
season.
like this is the best he's been playing. He looks
100%.
comfortable in that offense. When he's finally got like an elite workhorse running back, so that way
he's throwing dimes.
Yeah. It's not like he's just feeding one individual person. He's spreading the ball. Everybody's eating. Unfortunately, Zay Flowers didn't eat last game, which screwed me over in fantasy. But yeah, the Ravens look fantastic, and I'm excited to see them as the season progresses. If they're able to keep this pace that Lamar and Henry are playing at.
Yeah, I think we've got one more week, and then we'll kind of be at like the halfway point through the year. I don't know if we want to kind of do like an updated pick 'em for like who we think will be MVP.
Yeah,
or
like mid-season
like
point.
Mid-season picks, stuff like that. And kind of look back on what we picked for our first.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea.
See
what
we did.
If y'all think you want to see us do like a mid-season award prediction, comment that below, and we'll take that in consideration and review it over the next few weeks. But Rick, let's hop in to this week and let's see who you got winning every game.
All right, and this is the correct people who are going to win, just so you know.
Okay.
Take notes.
14-0.
Yeah. 16 picks this week.
No bye weeks this week.
16-0.
Okay.
Bounce back game for Minnesota. I think Cooper Kupp's coming back. Don't think that matters. You know what I actually think's happening here? I think there's already a trade in place for Cooper Kupp, but they're waiting for the week after, so Kupp doesn't have to play against the Rams. That's just my hot
so you
take.
think he's getting traded to the Vikings? I know I saw the thing you sent me on Twitter. I mean, that would be pretty nasty.
I think they need to if they want to compete with Detroit.
Well, I sent you that thing today, and I don't really trust the validity of it, but there's a source going around saying the Vikings are working on a deal to trade for Matt Stafford. So when y'all are seeing this, if that happened or happened right after, that's crazy. But I guess the Rams are very interested in Darnold. The Vikings feel more comfortable going on a Super Bowl run with Stafford. Plus, that opens up the door for J.J. McCarthy to come in, and Stafford was the quarterback when O'Connell was the OC there when they won the Super Bowl. So a lot of familiarity, and I'm sure the Vikings play calling and playbook is very similar to the Rams, but a lot of speculation on what's going to happen. I'm interested to see
what if they send both of them?
Yeah,
Kupp and Stafford.
That would be pretty sick. Kupp, Stafford picks for Darnold and Addison.
I think they keep Addison.
I've heard some rumors that like they're not super impressed with him, like his attitude, his off the field stuff, looming suspension next year possibly.
Yeah, maybe just get rid of him. Cut bait.
Those are just my sources though, but who knows? But anyways, back to you. Continue.
Yep. So I think Minnesota has a bounce back. They gotta keep pace with the NFC North. They're busy division winning football games, and that's what they're doing over there. So they gotta keep pace. Everybody's right there in that 5-1, 4-2 kind of range.
Yeah.
So they gotta win solid there. One thing with this week, there's a lot of big ass spreads.
Do we know who's the Browns starting quarterback this week?
It's either Jameis or Dorian Thompson Robinson, I think is what it is. No clue.
I think that's a game changer for me. That's a game changer for me.
I think Jameis makes it closer. I think they're going to start the other kid because Jameis was the third string.
Yeah.
This past week. I don't know. But I'm going to take the Ravens anyway. They're just so much better than Cleveland, and they've been blowing teams out. I think that continues here.
They've been blowing good teams out. Imagine what they do to not good teams.
Another huge spread.
That is a lot of points.
11.5 points.
Is that the biggest spread this season so far?
So far, yes. This was the biggest spread when I got to it. And then I got down here, I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to take the Lions over Tennessee at the 11.5 points. This probably be like a 40-10 game, something like that. Detroit's offense is just too good. But that's a big spread, man. It's painful
that's a lot of points
to go that big. Yeah. But I think these teams aren't even close in talent.
They're not.
Cardinals. So kind of shocked they were underdogs here.
Yeah.
Well,
it's at Miami. Tua's back.
Yeah. Although the Cardinals have not won back-to-back games in like 2 years. So they won last week.
Is that an actual stat?
It is.
Oh my God.
And since like 2021, they have not won back-to-back games.
That's nuts.
I don't know when Call of Duty's dropping.
Friday.
Fuck.
Oh no.
Make a switch. Make a switch.
We're doing it live.
No, I'm going to keep the Cardinals. They've done well for me when I pick them. Sometimes. They did for me. They won for me last week, which was good. I appreciated that. I needed that game over you there. But Tua's going to need a week or two to get back into it, I think.
Is he though? He just throws slants and screens, and the receivers run. I could do that. You know, chat. Ricky's first ever varsity pass attempt went for a touchdown on a screen.
Sure did.
I was there live, sophomore year.
We were
came in,
a shutout.
Yeah,
threw a touchdown,
and threw a touchdown on a quick screen. The only issue is it was to the other team, and they took it to the house because he threw it to the wrong side. But hey, 1 for 1.
I was 1 for 1, baby. The ball never touched the ground my entire sophomore year as a quarterback.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Boy, that's fun. But I do think Arizona's going to keep it close anyway. They won't get blown out. Not by more than 3. Another big spread here. This one I'm not as confident in taking the large spread, so I'm going with the 7.5 points. Divisional game. Always tough. I think the Jets win, but the Patriots keep it close.
Here's the thing, Drake May has looked pretty decent for the Patriots.
Exactly. Yeah. Shoot, he's got like 5 touchdowns, 2 picks. That ain't bad.
Solid.
Better than Patrick Mahomes, who's
That's
got
fair.
6 touchdowns, 8 picks.
And one of them's the best in the NFL, and one's a rookie.
Yeah. Tampa.
That's a tough situation.
Their top 2 receivers, and that's kind of like the lifeblood of what this team's been.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if they won this game. They're gonna have to do some tinkering with the offense to get back on track.
You know, what if they look to be like what if they look to be a team that trades for Cooper Kupp?
That would be sick. That would be awesome.
I mean, Rod God's out. I mean, obviously Mike Evans could be back before the playoffs, but
yeah,
I don't know what their cap situation looks like, but that would be.
I hope Mike comes back soon because he's 665 yards away from 1,000.
Oh, and he's got that whole streak of like 10 years straight running.
Yeah,
11 years straight.
Every year he's been in the league, he's been 1,000. So he needs 665 more, and if he comes back, I think it was week 12. He'd need in like 7 games,
120 a game.
He'd need like 700 yards in 7 games almost.
That's
something
doable.
Like that. So hopefully he gets it because he's one of my favorite, man.
That's a cool stat.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites too. So Green Bay, Jacksonville. I think Green Bay kicks the shit out of them. Enough said. Anthony Richardson, it's really fun watching him play football when you come check the box score in the fourth quarter because he's either got 10 completions for 250 yards or 10 completions for 60 yards, and you never know which one you're going to see when you click on the game.
Which one was it last week?
I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't look at it, but
10 for 129.
Yeah, he's always got 10 completions.
But he had 56 rushing yards.
Yeah, he's just an enigma, man. But I do think Houston's just a much better football team. Cincinnati, I'm taking them over Philly. They're favored. I think Cincinnati's going to start digging out of the hole they're in. They're up to 3-4 now.
Holy shit. Sorry, hold on. Back to Anthony Richardson. You're not lying. Here is his completions for the season. 9, 17, 10, 3, 10.
I know. It's
He's
crazy.
thrown less than 10 completions in 4 of the 5 games he's played. What
awesome,
the
dude.
hell?
It's awesome. It's
50%,
so fun.
47% completion, 50%, 50%, 75%, 41%. How do people say he's good?
Yeah, I know. It's an enigma, man. It's an enigma.
All right, continue.
But I'm taking Cincinnati over Philly. Cincinnati's got to start clawing their way out. They're up to 3-4. One more win gets them back to 500. Be a good time for them to do it right before the trade deadline. So, doing that there. Another big spread. I almost want to go back and pick the Chargers.
Yeah,
7.5 points is a lot.
Spencer Rattler's been playing pretty good for the Saints, though.
Yeah, it hasn't been bad. I am going to stick with the Saints.
I mean, he's stupid with the ball, but he can make plays with his feet.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Saints, even though my heart's telling me to take Los Angeles here.
How about another good receiver that's been balling out now? Rashid Shaheed, done for the year.
Yeah, he's hurt. Yeah,
that's we were talking about this the other day in a group chat of the number of players that have been injured this year just seems
and it's all
receivers. Drastic. Yeah, like
it's a lot of receivers. It's just tough.
Yeah, I mean,
tough, man.
And here I am starting a $4,900 receiver in FanDuel because all these guys are injured, and he's the number one receiver on his team. Like,
yeah, it's crazy stuff.
And I had never even heard of him before today.
He's a rookie. I forget what college he went to.
I don't know. I'll check the logs. You continue.
Something's telling me Arizona State. I could be wrong, but Bills versus Seahawks. I think the Bills are just on their way. They're a good team that got a lot better by trading for Amari Cooper. Seattle's out without their number one receiver in DK Metcalf. I think that's going to be the difference.
Washington.
Went to Washington?
Yeah, Jalen McMillan went to Washington.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Got the Bears versus the Commanders.
That's going to be... If Jaden Daniels was healthy, that would be a very good game.
I think it'd be a pick'em if he was healthy.
Yeah, I agree.
No, they'd probably be favored, honestly.
Yeah.
It's in Washington.
Yeah.
Like,
who's their backup? Is it
It's a Martin Mariota.
Oh, that's okay. Which I mean, he's not a bad backup.
No, he's not bad at all. Similar style quarterback. He's just not accurate as Jaden Daniels.
That's fair.
He may be a little bit more savvy in the run game, but I'm still taking Chicago. I think Caleb Williams hasn't been looking bad. They're coming off a bye week. So
a lot of time to prep.
Few weeks to a lot of time to prep, even though they were prepping for Jaden Daniels. Now you just got to swap that and go after Marcus Mariota. So
yeah,
2.5 points. I thought that was a pretty good deal there on that one. Another big spread. 7.5 points for the Broncos. It's hard to take a Broncos team that doesn't know. Like, it's not consistent. They can put up 10 points one week and then 40 points, and you just don't know. They're not like a consistent offensive juggernaut. Javonte Williams kind of finally got it going last week. Maybe that continues. I don't know, but I'm still going to take the 7.5. It's a lot of points.
A lot of points.
A big.
There's some big spreads this week.
It's a big spread week. It's really tough actually to pick this week. But just follow my picks and you'll go 16-0. Like I said, Patrick Mahomes is going to have his bounce back week this week. Going to throw the ball all over the yard to whoever the hell is playing receiver for him nowadays.
Apparently not Juju.
Cooper Kupp.
That'd be nasty.
That would be cool. That would be really sick. I mean, he'd probably play for 3 games and then be hurt. But
yeah, but those 3 games would be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it would be awesome. So, but Kansas City taking them over Vegas. Vegas sucks. They should trade Max Crosby to the Lions. Another spread that was bigger than I thought it would be.
And another team that has been plagued by injuries. San Fran.
Both these teams plagued by injuries.
Debo, CMC. I mean,
yeah. Cowboys are missing Micah, Tank, Deron Bland, Michael Kendricks. Like,
yeah,
it's just been a rough sledding for both these teams. I think San Francisco probably wins this, but it's going to be a close game. So I'm going to take the 5.5 points with Dallas. But I think San Fran wins it. If they end up going 3-5, really both these teams, the next few games they got to play are really damn tough.
Yeah.
And it's almost a must win for both of them.
I agree.
But 3-5 looks a whole lot worse than 4-3 in this scenario with their next slate of games coming up for these respective teams. Another big spread, 6.5 points against two teams. So I don't think like Pittsburgh's defense is great. New York Giants have a good defense. It's not great.
I will say, I
don't know.
thought Russ looked pretty decent, actually.
It looked bad. I mean, he takes up more chances downfield, and that opens up things with George Pickens, and which opens up things for the run game a little bit. Now, that remains to be seen if they play a defense that gets after the quarterback like the Giants do with Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau and all those.
That's a nasty defensive line. I'm also interested to see if, you know, a lot of speculation that some teams are going to be trying to trade for Dexter Lawrence for the trade deadline. Some playoff contender teams. So that'll be interesting to see if he gets dealt or not, because he's one of the best defensive tackles in the league. So
yeah, no, I think it's him and Chris Jones right now.
Yeah,
which he's leading the league in the interior people
in sacks, right?
He's got 9 sacks in the interior this year.
That's
the next
crazy.
Closest is 4 away for like interior defensive linemen, like nose tackles and stuff like that. So he is feasting in the middle, which is good to see for the Giants. I don't think they win this game, but I think it'll be closer than the 6.5 points. So
what's the tiebreaker?
35 points this week, so I don't think they're going to score a ton. If you want to go 16-0, you follow these picks right here. If you want to go 0-16, you listen to your boy Chase over here.
That's just incorrect because I have some similar picks as you. So, but look, who are you going to trust? Okay, look, you're going to trust the fish or the fisherman? Ricky in this situation is the fish. I'm the fisherman. I'm going to teach you how to do it, okay? Look, this is a simple one. First game of the week, Vikings-Rams. Look, Vikings played a great game. There's no need to bounce back. They played good. Sam Darnold is playing like an MVP caliber quarterback. Defense, they kind of got popped in the mouth a little early, but I look for them to bounce back here. The Rams' offense is not nearly as potent as the Lions. Did I say something wrong?
You said, they played a good game. I don't think they need to bounce back, but the defense is going to bounce back this week.
Metaphorically, okay? Anyways, Vikings 2.5. This is an easy one. I'm interested to see. Apparently, the Vikings are going to be buyers come the trade deadline. They're one of those teams that's being linked to Lawrence, to Cooper Kupp, to Matt Stafford. So we'll see what happens there. I'm with you. I contemplated this because 9.5 points is a lot, but the Browns stink. If Jameis plays, they could win the game outright, or he could throw 4 picks and they lose. There's no real in between. Yeah. But I'm going to take the Rock, the team that I said is probably my Super Bowl favorite right now, and that's the Ravens. I mean, until I see otherwise, it's going to be hard to bet against them. This is just too big of a spread to not take the points. I mean, this is almost a 2-touchdown line. I have no really reasoning behind this. The Lions came off a great win. Morale's high. They're leading the NFC North right now. But almost 12 points is a lot. That's a big spread. That's a college football spread. And I think if you were to go back and look at every time in the NFL when there's been a spread this big, I don't know the actual stats, but I would assume 75% of the time the underdog covers because it's the NFL.
Yeah.
This pick is solely because Call of Duty comes out Friday. They play Sunday. And I actually want to check the stats. I want to check the logs for Kyler Murray and see every single week after Call of Duty came out in his career if they won or lost. Because I'm pretty sure
it's a loss.
I'm pretty sure he has lost every single game.
I think we've looked
following
it up before.
Call of Duty coming out.
I think we've looked it up before, and it has been a loss.
So I'm riding with history. Okay, Black Ops 6 is going to be good. So Kyler's going to be up late night Friday, late night Saturday, grinding the camos. Give me the Dolphins. Tua's back. He's throwing his screens. He's throwing his quick slants. Tyreek Hill's back. Jalen Waddle's back. The Dolphins are back. This was a tough one also because the Jets suck, but the Patriots also suck. But I saw Devontae Adams was bitching about saying, yeah, this is the same stuff this team's been doing all year, even though he's only been there for 1 week. So he even he knows what's going on in that building. But look, I don't know if the Jets really even looked better with him. Their offensive line sucks, if we're just being blunt. Their defense sucks. Aaron Rodgers looks like he needs to retire. They don't have a run game. But for all those reasons listed, give me the Jets. Because there's gonna be a game where A-Rod and Devontae Adams connects for like 2-3 touchdowns in a game. It's just gonna happen. And I think it's gonna be this week. Maybe not 3 touchdowns, but like they're gonna ball out. I think. Give them another week of their bromance, and they're good to go. This is a tough one because if the Bucs are healthy, I think the Bucs are the better team. Falcons kind of got embarrassed last week against the Seahawks, and I think they need to look to bounce back. Kirk, not a great game, and he's had a pretty good season up until this point, so I think he gets back on track here. A lot of question marks for the Buccaneers of who's going to catch the ball. I have faith that Baker can get the ball to these guys, but who's going to step up? Is it going to be Jalen McMillan? Is it going to be Trey Palmer? Who's it going to be? Hopefully for my FanDuel's sake, it is those two. Maybe they try to lean on the run game more. Bucky Irving's been having a great season. Rashad White. We'll see, but I like the Falcons, and I actually think the Falcons win this one outright. I don't know how the Bucs are still a favorite with their depleted receiving core. I think this is actually going to turn into a pretty good game. I think the Packers win it. I think the Packers win by like a touchdown. But if the Jaguars are able to establish the run early, I mean, Tank Bigsby's been not unstoppable, but he's been great. Yeah. The Packers have kind of struggled to stop the run this year, so I think the Jaguars will pound the rock. And, Doug Peterson saved himself his job last week in London. I still think, as much as the owners say we trust him, we have faith in him, they're usually saying that when they don't trust him or have faith in him. I think he's on the hot seat. Yeah. So give me the Packers here. I think they've been playing pretty well, and they got to keep pace with the Vikings and the Lions and even the Bears in the NFC North, because that is a very competitive division. That still shocks me about Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I saw that stat the other day, and I was like, no way. I got to go look at this.
40% completion percentage. He's got 3 touchdowns, 6 picks. I'm a fan of his from college, but he wasn't good in college.
No.
He got drafted high. He hasn't been good in the NFL, yet everybody's so high on this hype train of, oh, he's great. He's not. I'm sorry, I'll say it. He's overrated. He'll be out of the league in 5 years. I don't know, maybe not. But if he keeps playing like he is, he will. If he keeps playing like he does, he will.
Yeah.
But this game's all about the Texans. They've been hot. They look good. CJ Stroud's balling out. Texans look like one of the better teams in the AFC also. It's going to be exciting come playoff time because you got the Texans who are looking great, the Bills, the Ravens, and then you still got the Chiefs who are undefeated, and Mahomes is not even playing good, and that's not to count any of the other teams.
The Bengals looking on their way in.
Yeah. And speaking of the Bengals, I'm taking them here. This is going to be a close game. This is honestly probably a biased pick here, but like you said, I think the Bengals are starting to play better. I mean, Jalen Hurts threw for 109 yards last week, and they won by 4 scores. Like, what other quarterback could do that and win by 4 touchdowns?
Right.
Saquon had a great game. I think he'll have another great game this week. Fingers crossed. But I think the Bengals win this one. This is a lot of points, and here's the thing. I don't trust the Chargers to blow people out. I think the Chargers win this game, but I think it's like a field goal win. I think it's close. The Saints
grind them out team.
Have lost 5 straight. I think they'll lose 6 straight, but I think this will be a close one. The Saints have stayed close in games relatively, I think. Meanwhile, the Chargers just haven't blown people out. Herbert.
Do you think Dennis Allen's the next coach to get fired?
No, I think he should be, but he won't. I don't know. I thought he should have got fired last year. I don't think he's a good coach, but I don't think the Saints will fire him. Not mid-season.
Do you think he's better than Sean Payton?
No. I mean, maybe. No, he's not. But yeah, no, I think the Chargers win this one, but I like the points. This could be a good game.
I think it will be.
I like the Bills. But the Seahawks coming off a big win, they got a lot of momentum. But I think the Bills have that true number one receiver now. And I think he's going to continue to build that chemistry with Josh Allen. And that's a pretty good combo because Josh Allen's got a cannon. Mari Cooper's a good deep ball route runner.
Yeah.
So I like that duo. I like the Bills here. I just think they're a better, well-rounded team. But
yeah, and DK's hurt. DK Metcalf's not playing for a few weeks, so that's a big loss there for Seattle.
Yeah, which they still got Lockett. They got Jackson Smith, but I think the Bills are a much better team. But this is going to be a good one. I'll make sure I'll be watching this game because it's going to be a good one. Cowboys play. Okay, Cowboys don't play at the same time. Yeah, I'll be watching this game. I wish Jaden Daniels was healthy because this would be a great game. Even with Mariota, and I think this will be a good game. This is going to be a big first test for the Bears because they really haven't played too many good teams. And, they're 4-2. But let's see what happens when they're playing against a team that, for all accounts, looks like the best team in the NFC right now. Arguably, with Jaden Daniels. Yeah. Without him, who knows? But
I think they would be the 1 seed if playoffs started today, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a big test for both because how do the Bears look against good competition? How does Washington look without him? Is it all Jaden Daniels? Is it the entire team? So a lot of question marks there, but I like the Bears just because Daniels is out. It's hard to bet on a backup quarterback. This is going to be an ugly game. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to watch this game. Jonathan Brooks might be back this week. That'll be exciting, actually. Big fan of his. Book him.
If he's back this week, I may tune in for a little bit.
So here's my thing with this, and here's why I'm taking the Panthers. That's a lot of points. Broncos win this game, I think, 100%. I don't trust the Broncos to blow teams out either. Their defense, the Broncos have one of the best defenses in the league.
Elite.
But I don't trust their offense to put up a ton of points against the Panthers. So I like the Panthers to cover here, but Broncos win it. I'm with you on the Chiefs. The Raiders suck. That's a lot of points, but I keep saying it, and I will keep saying it. It's just going to happen. 1 week, Patty's going to throw 5 touchdowns, and it'll be like, okay, I think I'm back. Like the John Wick scene. That's going to be Patty. And that might be this week because the Raiders suck. What time to get his get back than this week?
Yeah, and they were talking shit in the offseason, so he's going to have to put it on them.
I was really back and forth on this, and usually, I pick the Cowboys with my heart. Started to use my brain, right? And I picked the 49ers. And I was like, wait a second. Cowboys are coming off the bye week, and all this report's coming out saying, Jerry Jones is pretty much saying that the plays suck and the scheme sucks. Mike McCarthy said, we got to really focus on the details in practice.
I've said that from week 1.
He's been there for 4 years, and we're still working on the details. But here's the thing, and here's why I picked it back to the Cowboys. We're coming off the bye week. And every year, the last 2 or 3 years, we've kind of been disappointed going into the bye week. And then all of a sudden we come out of the bye week and we look like a brand new team. We start airing it up. We start using motion. We start blitzing. We start looking good. And then we go on a run. Starts today. Starts Sunday night. Post bye week.
Are you going to be waiting all day for Sunday night?
I am. Yeah. And then lastly, the Monday night game to wrap it up. Look. This brings back memories of Eli Manning versus Big Ben, Sunday Night Football. You forgot to do your homework. You got to go to school in the morning. That's what this game feels. This feels like throwback. This feels like a throwback game, and I like that. I can appreciate that. But what I can't appreciate is this line. The Steelers are going to kick the shit out of the Giants. I think Russell Wilson is just going to get better as time goes on. He started off a little rough. And he finished the game pretty strong. Him and George Pickens seem to have some good chemistry. Najee's starting to run the ball. Jalen Warren's getting his touches. Steelers' defense is elite. Steelers' offensive line is pretty good. That's going to be a good matchup. But I think Russell gets some sacks, but I think the Steelers win this one by double digits. And my total points on that is going to be 42. It's been my go-to every week, and I like it. But
we've got a whole lot different here.
So one of us might be, look. If you guys want to go 16-0, you can go with Ricky, or you can go with me. But we'll see. Maybe we both go 8-8.
This could be a big swinging week right here.
I'm thinking this is probably an 8-8 week for both of us.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. We've got a lot of good matchups. I'm interested to see if either of us can finish in the money in FanDuel this week, kind of build that
same.
momentum that I had, or see if you can't build some momentum yourself.
Yeah, I've been this close for 3 weeks.
I think both of our lineups look good. A lot of exciting games. Look, we're getting closer. Like you said, we're almost at the halfway point. I think the teams are kind of starting to spread apart and see who's contenders and who's pretenders. So exciting times. But look, we appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you tune in next week for the next episode of Two Friends Talking. I'm Chase. This is Ricky. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Cheers.